Welcome back to the channel. Tonight we're going to have an inbox review of the Hasegawa 1/48 scale Spitfire Mk IX from the Kenley wing, featuring two schemes by Canadian ace Johnny Johnson. This is a kit, actually it's going to be my 1-year build for my local IPMS chapter, IPMS London. So basically the rules of that build is not much at all actually. You can build whatever you want, you just choose to build something and you have to have it done by the end of the year. So yep, this is the kit I'm going to do. I'm going to also be adding just a little bit of aftermarket, but not much. The P-mask masking for the canopies, and something from Yahoo, however you can pronounce it. They're out of Poland. These are actually a photo etched cockpit, or just the photo etch instrument panel, and that's really all I want for photo etch. I've gotten a little bit tired of spending a lot of time in photo etch when this is all I really want. These are only a couple of bucks. I got them from Handits for a bunch of my upcoming RAF World War II builds. Anyway, the focus actually is on the kit itself. So we have the nice box art here, as you can see. Looks very good. Opening it up, we have, now I just so everyone knows, I have opened this up already, so this isn't like a box opening, but an inbox review. First thing is the decals, very crisp, very clear. One of the schemes for invasion stripes, so if you don't feel like masking and doing invasion stripes, you can use these. They look in very good shape for Hasegawa. So those are the decals. The first baggie contains the clear canopy parts, some very nice parts actually. Looks in very good shape, very little distortion, as well as the gun sights, landing lights, etc. So very good shape on these. The other parts came packaged in one baggie. I've already removed it just to save time. So the first sprue is various antenna, aerials, landing gear, wheels, stuff like that. There is quite a few extra parts to build different marks of Spitfire from these, so you will have a few extra things for the spares box. Plastic's in very good shape. Next sprue contains the two fuselage halves, the propeller, exhaust, landing gear, doors, seats, interior, etc. The interior looks very good. Very good shape. I don't know how well we can see that, but just enough detail to make it pop out. You don't really have to do a lot of aftermarket if you didn't want to, which is what the goal is here. As well, the cockpit, as I said, the instrument panel, it's actually not too bad on its own. I'm going to be adding my own there. Yep, plastic's in fairly good shape. No sign of obvious ejector pin marks. A few molding, I won't call them deficiencies, but you can see where some of the molding, the plastic didn't quite mix perfectly, but again, I think with priming, that'll hide out. You notice it a little bit more in the next sprue, which is the wings, upper and lower. Again, just really, you can see kind of some lines where the plastic flowed, and that's really tough to see. Maybe like that, you can see a bit there, right there. But again, a good coat of primer, nice subtle panel lines, very nice and crisp. The wheel wells look good, not too bad at all. So yeah, fairly good. Next sprue is a couple of different tail planes. Again, you get some optional stuff here, so one set will be used and one obviously won't. And again, if you look at this side here, you can kind of see where the plastic, it's like a little mark, but it's pretty flat. There's no masking or no sanding required. Again, fairly good. Next is some more details, including some of the ordnance. This is actually sprue J and F. There's two sprues here. This is actually also one of the interesting ordnance selections. Instead of a bomb, you get a barrel of beer. They used to ship it over that way, and you can actually, there's some polycaps in the kit down here that you can actually swap the ordnance in and out. Various cannon bays, etc. And the last sprue of the bunch is again some more tailplane radiators. I accidentally knocked one of the radiators off already, inlets, and again different tailplanes, not all of which you will use, But again, very nice shape for Hasegawa, of course. Last but not least are the instructions. We'll go through those. I'm just going to put this away, give me some room. As usual, very clear Hasegawa instructions. A little bit of history, like how the Mark IX was designed as a stopgap to counter the Focke-Wulf 190, because the Mark Vs are having totally outclassed by it. It's a little bit of history there in a couple of languages. Construction looks fairly straightforward. It's going to be seat assembly, cockpit, button up the two fuselage halves, wings. Moving along, again, wings to fuselage and some of the various ordnance options. And then, depending on which aircraft you're doing, you can put various ordnance options on. So that's what that is. Last but not least, the spinner, the landing gear, etc. So fairly straightforward build. The sprue layout, again, there's a few gray areas you'll see here. So there is quite a bit that you'll end up in this in the spares box. The color callouts are, of course, Mr. Hobby, Mr. Color. I'm probably going to be using mostly Tamiya, maybe some Vallejo. There's basically two schemes, July 1943 and June 1944, both flown by Wing Commander Johnny Johnson, who was the top scoring Canadian ace of the war. Haven't quite decided yet. I'm probably leaning towards the first one, just because I've never been a big fan of the invasion stripes. They're real pain, and I like the simplicity of the first one here, so we'll see. So yeah, that's basically it. The back page, obviously, your usual warnings and stuff like that. So all in all, a very nice kit. Looking forward to building it. I should be able to knock it together fairly quickly, and then work on the masking. I haven't worked on a 48 scale subject in a little while. I've got a Hurricane I built a couple of years ago, so looking forward to building my first Spitfire in 48 scale. I got a ton of 72nd ones as well, but looking forward to this one. So that's going to be the build. I'm going to feature it on the IPMS London forum at ipmslondon.ca. I'll also put some pictures up, of course, at internationalscalemodeler.com. If you haven't been there, I do highly recommend it. It's an awesome site for a good modeling community. There's also live shows on their stream every Tuesday and Friday. Paul and the rest do a really good job. Anyway, that's it for this time. If you have any other comments or suggestions, please let me know in the comments. A few videos ago, I did a tour of my stash. If you wish to see an inbox review or see what's in the box of something else, please let me know in the comments, and I'll be glad to do that for you. So until next time, thank you and be well.